What is good, y'all? Smoove gang, and Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy Hanukkah, all that stuff, man. Whatever you celebrate, happy and merry to whatever it is, because it's the greatest day of the year. Football Wednesday. No, I'm just playing. But no, for real, man. Happy holidays. Hope you and your family are enjoying it. Today we have the reaction show again. I'm not recording this on the day of Christmas, of course. I'm celebrating my family, so Merry Christmas to you. Yours down below. Hit me with a Merry Christmas comment down below, and I'll say it right back to you guys to show that love. But hopefully you guys are enjoying your Football Wednesday. I mean, we got a doubleheader today. At the time, at least you guys watching this, is a doubleheader going on today. And I'm going to try to drop this before the first game hits so we can see where the power rankings are going into the last 2 weeks of the season. Playoff pictures are coming down to it. I think there's only I want to say a total of 8 teams in the hunt for 5 unclinched spots in the postseason. Most of them have been clinched up to this point, so we're just looking at seeding now. Who's taking the number 1 seeds? Both sides, AFC and NFC, both are coming down close. I mean, all the Chiefs have to do is pretty much win this week. They've got the number 1 seed. NFC a lot more closer, though. A lot different scenario, especially with the Eagles losing. So, a lot different scenario over there with the Lions coming back for a win, the Vikings getting their win. Can anybody play spoiler over there? We're going to see. So what that will have to do with our power rankings, we're going to see. Hit the video with a like, comment, and subscribe while you guys wait into the video. If you guys are ready for postseason football, as we got a crazy week. I mean, college football, the bowl games, Christmas Day games, New Year Day games. It's about to be a crazy next couple weeks. Hope y'all are ready to enjoy it with me. And let's see what these power rankings look like from their perspective.
Yeah, ended up back where we started at the beginning of the year. Kansas City kind of reshuffling their way to the top. Ooh. That's what happens with one loss.
Oh, Kansas. I mean, yeah, only one lost team still here left. So, let's not take that off so I can see. Kansas City at 1, jumping up 2 spots. Bills staying at 2. Detroit at 3. I'll probably put Detroit at 2. Yeah, me personally, I'll probably put Detroit at 2, but I see it. Eagles go up down to 4, respectable. Vikings staying at 5. Packers at 6. Baltimore at 7. Commanders at 8. So, Steelers kind of dropping back, which I think in a one-on-one again, I think Baltimore would probably take it. It's interesting to say that the Commanders would take care of the Pittsburgh Steelers. I don't know about that one quite yet, but Jaden is playing out of his mind right now. He's probably the best rookie quarterback in his class right now. Hopefully he doesn't hit that CJ sophomore slump. But we'll have to see what year 2 looks like. But first, what can he do with year 1? Let me know down below if you're a Commanders fan or not. How many postseason games, if they get in, you think the Commanders are going to take down? I don't know if they get 1, but I think even sliding in would be pretty impressive.
Team of the Week is presented by Truist.
Team of the week.
All right, let's circle back on this number 1 squad, and that is the Kansas City Chiefs. We keep talking about these one-possession games. They keep on winning. Eric, is this still a thing?
Nothing.
It is still a thing. They've got it down to a science at this point. I mean, I think at some point, we realized the suspicions should fade away. And I think the trust in this team, everything they've built up over the last 5 years, certainly. But even this season, too, the ability to close out games, they know how to do it. First drive, though, for me, set a big statement. We all came in with questions about Patrick Mahomes' ankle. I felt like those were answered. He had a big scramble there on 3rd and 13. They convert the 4th, and then all of a sudden, Patrick Mahomes is running 15 yards into the end zone. I mean, you almost could hear Arrowhead kind of collectively holding their breath when that started. But by the end of the drive, I think a lot of people, myself included, felt like Mahomes is in decent shape. This team keeps winning. The defense takes care of business. They've got some people back from injury. I think the Chiefs are in pretty good shape. We can respect them now again. Yeah, I obviously coming off their first loss in 3 months and dealing with the spate of injuries on both sides of the ball, not just that defense, David Montgomery as well. Look, you're still going on the road. You're still facing a divisional opponent. The Bears gave them a ton of trouble on Thanksgiving. They get off to a fast start, answer a bunch of questions right away. Look, Gibbs was great in kind of a lead role. That wasn't a big shock, but the trick play, how about the latest sorcery from Ben Johnson?
Bro, to fall down to a touchdown pass, if you the way that you fall for that, you gotta go home feeling terrible. Ain't no way y'all just fell for the fake stumble. They about to add that in Madden next year. It's about to be a fake stumble instead of a knee.
That fake stumble, fake fumble, whatever you want to call it. Gibbs played his part. Jared Goff did his thing, and Sam Laporta caught it. I almost wonder if Ben Johnson wasn't maybe showing off a little for the Bears. They've got a head coaching search in the offseason. That's a story for down the road. But for the Lions and their quest for a Super Bowl, this was a great way to get back on track. Still have 2 tough games, San Francisco, Minnesota, and they've got to beat the Vikings to ensure they win the division, assuming both teams win next week. But there's still a lot to like about this team, Mike. The mental toughness being, I think, close to the top of the list. That fearless factor they bring into most games. You could do that, but you could also say, hey, look, Hurts is in concussion protocol. You've got Kenny Pickett, his backup, who, was up and down in his place, having x-rays on his ribs. Are we looking at Tanner McKee playing football down the stretch in pivotal moments for the Eagles? I don't know that we're at that point yet, but there are some concerns. It puts a lot more of the onus on Saquon Barkley. He's got to keep being superhero every week, assuming there's some concern at the quarterback spot. And then defensively allowing 5 touchdown drives and, some coverage busts there, some late breakdowns. Kind of feels like they may have let the chance to get the number 1 seed slip away, but it's still there. They still have that opportunity, and I'm not ready to bury this team, but they did drop out of the top spot. We had just graduated them to the top of the heap, and a little bit of humble pie on, before Christmas here.
It's wild. What's an NFL season? What's another edition of Power Rankings with not a little chaos at the top there? I'm sort of shocked, to be honest with you.
And let me know down below, does anybody still feel like the Eagles can take it? I do know was reading like the different scenarios that would have to happen. For them to get in, they need to win out. They need Detroit to lose out, but they also need Minnesota to lose this week. So both Detroit and Minnesota got to lose this week. Minnesota's got to beat Detroit next week, and the Eagles have to win out for the Eagles to get the top seed. I don't think all that's happening. If anything, I think the Lions winning out. Vikings might win this week, but then lose next week. And then even if Eagles win out, it's going to Detroit at that point.
I think I'm buying stock again. I was ready to kind of unload a little bit or, sort of softly get rid of what I bought up all in the preseason. I was high on this team early in the year, but they found their way again. And I think Daniels is obviously a huge part of it. I mean, to give them a spark with 2 receivers who hadn't really done much all season, at least as far as touchdown production. Jamison Crowder catches the first one, also the game winner. Olamide Zaccheaus. They don't win without those 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter from him. So some big plays from unexpected sources. But Daniels now, even as a rookie, he is the expected source. He is expected to carry this offense. And to him, that's just okay. I think everybody...
And that's a different breed. Short sleeves, I know it's cold up there right now. This game was in Washington. I've never really been to Washington like that. Is it cold? Is it cold or something? Obviously, everywhere's cold right now, but obviously, it's probably not Philadelphia, New York cold. But how cold we talking this game was? Because I feel like, other players are in short sleeves too. But me personally, I would have long sleeves, leggings on, probably about 2 long sleeves just to go to get right. I've probably been dressing that way for a while. I currently live now. I'm in California. Then I'm in short sleeves. Like if I'm the Rams, if I'm the Raiders, what I'm saying? Over there, yeah. Miami, Washington, Philadelphia, Baltimore, Kansas City, Buffalo, never.
Grabbed onto his cape, and I want to see how far it takes him, right? Is he going to go on a Jordan Love-like run in the playoffs this year or something? I could see it, absolutely. They're building so much confidence in Washington, even after some stumbles earlier this year.
Yeah, really looking forward to the matchup against Atlanta at Sunday Night Football. A lot on the line for both of these teams and a great rookie quarterback matchup. We'll talk about the Falcons in just a moment.
I went on a radio show the other day, and somebody said, where did you move the Vikings up to? And I said, I got them stuck at 5. I can't find a spot for them. Maybe they're better than the Eagles. Maybe they're better than some of those other teams in the top 4, but they are really terrific. And I do believe they sort of have found a way into that elite tier of the NFL right now. Defense, offense.
I don't think we can say elite. Good postseason contender, Super Bowl contender. I'll give you that one. Even though I'm stretching a little with the Super Bowl contender, I'll give you that. Elite.
About Sam Darnold throwing that ball after taking a massive hit the play before, threading it into Justin Jefferson. Those are plays that, yes, we've always known Sam Darnold is capable of, but now he's making them on the regular. This team, like we said with Washington, is just brimming with confidence, but they've been doing it now over the course of a few months and still got their chance to get a little payback against the, fight off a Packers team that's looking for payback, I should say. And again, I feel like this is a different model than we saw 2 years ago when they had an equally impressive record, 13-4, but the negative point differential. This season feels different to me. I don't have those same doubts. I think they're really on a roll right now. Yeah, the questions about the Packers, at least for me, are not about what they can do against middling teams like the Saints. Obviously, they're very beat up, and they took care of business Monday night, no doubt, got off to the top fast start. Put it in cruise control after that. It's what the Packers can do against the elite teams in the NFL. We've seen them come up just short against the Lions, just short against the Vikings, other teams in that same echelon. And this next matchup, the rematch against Minnesota, this is their opportunity not only to change the calculus in the NFC and the NFC North for that matter, but also to send a statement, hey, we can win these types of games. I love when Josh Jacobs sets the tone early. I love that they have 5 or 6 playmakers they trust. They just got Luke Musgrave back off the IR. They're getting healthy too, and that defense has responded after some tough outings this year, including the one at Detroit.
Ticket to Future Champions. It is presented by FanDuel. Take a closer look at the odds in the AFC North. And then there were 2 to go and win this division. The Baltimore Ravens, according to FanDuel.
Let me know down below who's y'all bet against right now. Baltimore or Pittsburgh? I've said Baltimore for the longest. I'm going to stick with my pick here. Pittsburgh has looked great at times in the season. Last 2 games, though, down the stretch for longevity. Give me Baltimore.
The favorite right now, followed by the Steelers. All right, let's focus in on the 7th-ranked team, and that is the Ravens. They get Houston on Christmas Day. Lamar just continues to ball out. I think there's a lot of different ways that we go with this team. We can have the MVP conversation, but to me, maybe the best storyline is a resurgence on the defensive side by Zach Orr's unit.
Okay.
You're right. Lamar, Henry, Rashad Bateman, they're all crucial pieces of that offense. But I've said, this team last year that was even better on the defensive side, they didn't win with it. So they had to get better. We've seen the strides, not just in this last game against Pittsburgh with the big plays, the fumble and the interception, the pick 6, but also over recent weeks too. So there's a body of work there, I feel like, Mike, that we can kind of start to embrace. I don't think they're going to be as dominant. The pass rush isn't quite as good. The coverage has been a little bit disappointing over the course of the season, but still a tough team. And it just feels like they're on a crash course with the Chiefs. At some point, they met in week 1 to kick off the season. We're going to see these teams meet again. I'm calling my shot right now.
There's something about a potential rematch that's got me intrigued here. Baltimore, they were the team that was dominant all season long. Now, all of a sudden, I think they go from the hunted to now the hunters this season with 5 losses. I think this is a different vibe heading into the postseason, which might be a good thing for Harbaugh's squad.
Yeah.
I made reference to it. Christmas Day, yes, we will see this Baltimore Ravens squad. We got 2 games on Netflix.
I'm in the comment section who y'all got later today. Looks like 4:31. So we'll probably get this game. This is probably dropping around 12. If you guys have seen it past that, that's what time we dropped it though, at least. So let me know if hopefully these age right. I'm going Kansas City and Baltimore. They'll get the dubs here today.
Okay.
All right, here we go. The second quadrant here. Got the Steelers dropping now 1. Still staying in the top 10 though. The Chargers moving up 3 spots to get into the top 10. Broncos dropping 2. Rams up 2. Texans and Bucks drop 2. Falcons up 2. Bengals up 4. Now, Bengals are looking real good right now. I told y'all they could probably still slide in this postseason. I would probably put them over the Buccaneers and Falcons both. Honestly, low key, the way the Texans kind of struggle, you might be able to. That's just on paper. On paper, I would put them above them. How they're playing, though, I got to keep them lower. Give me the Rams above the Broncos, though. Actually, give me the Rams above the Chargers. So let me go Steelers, Rams, Chargers, Broncos, Texans, Bengals, Bucks, Falcons. Yeah, I feel comfortable with that one. Let me know what you guys got down below, though.
Power moves, presented by Energizer. All right, let's circle back on that 10th-ranked team in the Chargers. I think they're for a good stretch of this season, Eric. We felt like, hey, this is a team that's really dangerous because of their defense, because of Justin Herbert. It feels like at times, especially late in the season with some of these injuries, he's a one-man band on offense.
It could look that way sometimes.
Absolutely. We've seen Ladd McConkey miss time. We've obviously seen some of the receivers struggle with drops, too. So there's been a lot working against him. His favorite tight end, at least early in the season, Will Dissly out, too. But Herbert keeps coming back, fighting through that left ankle injury. We saw him even make a couple of big scrambles, but really it was finding some of these receivers. Joshua Palmer, who had a terrific one-handed catch in the back of the end zone for the 2-pointer, and then also getting some unexpected sources from guys like Haskins, too. And, Herbert really has had a terrific season. And maybe we put too much stock in that second half against the Bucs. They got blown out. It happened a couple times this year. They've had a few really bad halves. Arizona, Tampa Bay, Cincinnati, etc. But when they're at their best, they have a path to kind of come back, and Herbert's got the ball in his hands. Good things usually happen, so I'm still pretty encouraged about their chances to maybe pull a first-round upset in the playoffs if they get there.
It's a one and done.
Yeah, look, once again, you play defense the way that they do, it's definitely going to give you an opportunity once the postseason rolls around. We do get to see them on a Saturday, and yes, we have an exclusive triple header on NFL Network. The Chargers will be matching up against the New England Patriots. Coverage of that game, by the way, 1 Eastern time. Do not want to miss it. Broncos and Bengals at 4.
And let me know what you guys got lined up for this one, man. Give me Chargers over Patriots, Bengals over Broncos. Yes, I'm going with the upset there. And give me the Rams over the Cardinals. down below in the comment section. Y'all keep them comments coming, baby. I got questions for y'all. I better be seeing some answers.
Yeah, you talked about kind of the Eagles mentality, or sorry, the Ravens mentality being the hunted here, and I think it applies to the Falcons too. They've put themselves in this position, obviously, and maybe they waited too long to make a quarterback switch, but they got it done. Penix got, if we're using baseball terms here, like a starting pitcher, great run support. His receivers made plays. Bijan Robinson was a huge part of the run game. That opened up play action. And oh, by the way, 2 defensive touchdowns. That's pretty good support right there. So every, perfect situation, everything you could ask for a rookie quarterback making his first start, an experienced guy in college, but still got to be some butterflies. And I thought he handled himself really well, especially after starting the game 2 for 6. He really found a rhythm there and took apart a good Giants defense. You can say what you want about them. They're not a good football team, but the defense has played well at times this year.
Yeah, 3,400 answered points for the Falcons.
Everybody play well at times. That don't mean they're good. Ugh.
You're saying there's a chance, right? Yes, they're like the undead team right now. Nobody can actually kill them off. We'll see if Denver can take care of business this week. But to go on the road and get 2 road wins and then come back home against Cleveland and have their probably their best defensive showing of the season. Granted, it came against a third-string quarterback, but still, that's the kind of confidence I think you need from a unit that has been called out. And you still got Joe Burrow. You still have Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, and the offense has had plenty to do these last several games. They've been in this mode where they feel like they have to beat people via shootout, and that really wasn't the case Sunday. They got off to a hot start, kind of put the game in control and took care of business from there. So anything could happen down the stretch, right? They've got Denver, they've got Pittsburgh. I give them a decent shot, a competitive shot to win either game. And who knows? It would be a crazy story in a year where there haven't been a lot of playoff mystery teams sort of coming out of nowhere so far.
And here we go, quadrant 3. We still slide in here. 17, you have Seattle dropping 2 spots. They're L there. Miami going up 1. Cardinals down 3. Cowboys up 1. 49ers down 3. And then the Colts, Saints, and Bears all staying put. I don't know how you have the Colts lower than the 49ers with how bad they've played. I think if anything needs to be changed, just them moving up. You could probably put the Colts above the Cowboys too. And everything else would most likely, everything else would be fine. So just move the Colts up to 20. Drop the 49ers down to 22. Cowboys down to 21. And I'll agree from there.
Yeah, it's really hard to sort of categorize a team that opens the season with 3 straight wins, then follows it up with 5 out of 6 games that are losses, and then 3 more wins, and then 2 losses in a row. It has been a roller coaster, at least as far as the wins and losses go in Mike McDonald's first season. They've dealt with a lot of stuff. Kenneth Walker hurt again this season. That really has hindered the run game. It's put a lot on Geno Smith's shoulders, Mike. And look, they have those receivers, but the protection hasn't always been there. Geno's throwing some red zone picks. He's kind of inching closer to his rookie year INT total. Yeah. He's also completing 70% of his passes and on pace for a career high in passing yards. So there's been some good. There's been a reason why they're still in the race, and they're going to have to beat Chicago. The wild card is out, and then hope for Arizona to beat the Rams. That would set up a take it all or nothing kind of game in Week 18 for the division. Okay. But again, they're really swimming upstream at this point. Defensively, hasn't been the season they hoped, especially with McDonald, but they got a chance. I don't know what I expected, Mike, coming into the year. I think something around this. I don't think this is terribly out of character for them, at least as far as what I thought they were going to be coming into the year.
Desperation.
Whatever McCarthy is telling his players in meetings, in practices, prior to games, at halftime, it's working, right? I mean, he's got this team back on track, starting quarterback out, injuries all over the place, losing pieces on defense as well. And boy, they found a spirit that I didn't know they would have. This was a team that was sort of caught in a malaise for a while, but you saw them finish off that dramatic game Monday night against a good Bucs team, a desperate Bucs team that was also sort of controlling its fate to a degree. So does this mean McCarthy's back? You're seeing Cooper Rush perform at an effective level. I mean, he looked pretty darn good the last month or so. And, Mike McCarthy's expertise is on the offensive side of the ball. CeeDee Lamb is engaged. You've got Rico Dowdle going late in the season, even with a bad game Monday. I mean, all the signs are in a positive direction. I think that bodes well for McCarthy. I don't know if it means he's going to have his job, but good for them for staying in the race when everybody had kind of thrown some dirt on him. And, they just got eliminated, but still competitive football throughout. You got to tip your hat to that.
And here we go to the last quadrant, man. 25, the Panthers up 2 spots. They've really risen up from being one of the worst teams. The Jets staying at 26, Browns down 2, Patriots up 1, Raiders up 2, Jags down 2, Titans down 1, and the new worst team, the Giants, holding the number 1 overall pick. So, I mean, it's the best of the worst. I mean, we really can't argue which one of these teams are better. Just, if this were the draft order right here, which I don't think it is. I know the Giants have the first pick, but who knows how those 3 and 12s are going to shake out. What do you guys think the number 1 pick is going to be? Do you think the Giants go Shedeur, Cam Ward? I almost forgot his name since he ran off social media. No, Travis Hunter. You know what I'm saying? Like, what you think it's one of those 3, or do you think it's a wild card 4th option, or do they trade back and try to pick up a large haul of draft capital to go there and try to really, really rebuild this team, find like 3-4 starters instead of one really good superstar? Let me know down below what you guys think is going to happen here, and let's see what they got to say here in the last probably about 2 minutes here. Let's see what team they pick to talk about. They'll probably only pick one.
Yeah, I don't know that I would have expected them to land there, especially not after the first 2 weeks of the season. Things were looking so bad. Bryce Young was benched. His backup goes and wins their first game for him. But you got to give Young a ton of credit for taking the demotion, figuring out what did he need to work on, putting it to work behind the scenes. And then when he got his second opportunity after Dalton got hurt, really made the most of it. And now people are not talking about what a giant draft bust he is. He is now all of a sudden back in that same position he was in the offseason as the leader of this team. There's some young pieces to get excited about. The offensive line, Leggett, and also Chuba Hubbard. Boy, he had that overtime fumble a couple weeks ago, ended up being the overtime hero on Sunday. So the arrow's trending back up for this team. They got a lot of work to do in the offseason, but I like the direction they're heading in right now, Mike.
There's that old adage in the college football world, right? When a new coach takes over, you probably lose big in year number 1. You lose a little smaller in year number 2. You start winning small in year 3, and then you start winning big in year 4. That's obviously the path here. I think we're starting to see that within one season. Some close losses down the stretch for Carolina here, but then they go and pick up a win. So maybe, as to your point, arrow is pointing up for Bryce Young and the Carolina Panthers.
Interesting. I do think they are, trending in an upward direction. I'm always going to love seeing, my brothers at the quarterback position do great, just not better than the Saints. That's why we need to go get this one. But no, for real though, they play phenomenally, and when you're talking about the lower ends in teams, it's kind of like future projections. Are we looking towards the draft? Are we just excited for the upcoming next season? I think the Panthers are one of those teams where it's not even so much draft excitement. It's just excitement of the growth and development of the offseason. How much are these players going to progress on their own on the offseason, and what are they going to look like next year? Is this going to really be a 4-team race next year? Atlanta's getting better. We'll have to see what Penix looks like in year 2. The Panthers are getting better. The Bucks are starting to, I think, come back down a little bit, obviously off the Tom Brady hype. Starting to come back down a little bit, and then are we going to finally be healthy and be able to put some key pieces around? I mean, honestly, at this point, I don't even know who our coach is going to be, or obviously because we need to find a new one. Coach is going to be, new quarterback, what our draft picks are going to look like. Are we going receiver, which I honestly think we should. If y'all looked at the box score of that game, I mean, there were names that I know just because I'm a Saints fan, but if you're just a casual, or even not just a casual, but if you're just a Saints fan, not a Saints fan, I don't know if you can name one person other than Juwan Johnson on that list that caught a pass this past weekend. So receiver might be on the table. Tight end might be on the table. I don't know. We'll have to see what they decide to go with here. I personally probably am looking, if we're not up there in the top 5 picks to go get, honestly, if we can't get Cam or Shedeur, go for the Arizona receiver. McMillian, I think is his name. Territoria McMillian, I think. The Arizona receiver. That should be our first pick. If he's off the board, I think there's a really good tight end right now making waves. Is it where's he at though? It's not Penn State, I don't think. Is it Michigan? I know there's at least one really good tight end in the draft about to come up. Go get him. Get somebody else that can help out catch the ball, because obviously Chris Olave is going to be hurt a lot, or at least he's getting hurt a lot because we keep using him a lot. Let's find somebody else to share the workload like we had with him and MT. Get him a partner, whether it's tight end or another receiver, something. Let me know what you guys' draft plans are. Or are you guys just excited for next season? If your team is in the playoffs, I hate you. But let me know how far you think your team's going to go. Obviously, you're probably going to say, I'm about to win the Super Bowl. Be realistic, bro. Kansas City, Detroit, Super Bowl matchup. Detroit's taking it all. That's my pick. But I'll catch you guys in the next one. We're watching Smoove, aka Michael Kage, Black Avatar King Leo. And I'll catch you guys in the next video. And I'm going for the day. Peace.